Hello again, dear one. It is so nice to have you here with me tonight. As you lie there, wrapped in the quiet comfort of your bed, imagine a time when the night sky was the only map a traveler ever needed, a luminous guide shimmering over dark oceans and vast deserts. That is what we are exploring together, celestial guidance, the ancient art of navigating by the stars. So let your body sink a little deeper into the mattress, let your breathing slow and soften. Adjust your pillow one last time, and simply be here, with me in this moment. Let us begin. Tonight, I will share a handful of quiet, fascinating facts about how ancient peoples found their way across the world using only the stars. Each one is a gentle story, offered one at a time, and if you drift off to sleep somewhere in the middle, know that is exactly how it is meant to be. If nights like these bring you a little peace, consider subscribing so I can be here for you, whenever you need a soft voice in the darkness. Now, let us start our journey. In the vast, open Pacific, the Polynesians sailed without compass or chart, trusting instead a mental map they called the star compass. They divided the horizon into 32 houses, each marking the rising and setting point of a specific star or constellation. Picture a navigator standing on the deck of a double-hulled canoe, his gaze tracing the familiar path of Sirius as it dipped toward the sea, feeling the gentle pressure of the current against the hull. By memorizing these celestial signatures and reading the subtle language of the water, they ventured across thousands of miles and found tiny islands scattered like seeds in the immense blue dark. The soft glow of the night sky was their library, their teacher, and their constant companion. Far across the world, in the shifting sands of Egypt, architects raised the Great Pyramid of Giza with an alignment so precise it still whispers of the heavens. During their era, the North Star was not our familiar Polaris, but a star called Thuban in the constellation Draco. They positioned the pyramid's descending passage so that its central axis pointed directly toward this quiet sentinel, holding its gaze fixed on the eternal stillness at the center of the turning sky. Imagine the cool, smooth stone walls bathed in faint starlight, the structure becoming a bridge between Earth and the unshakable celestial realm. In that alignment, there was a promise of permanence, a peaceful reflection of the star's calm order carved into the very stone of the world. In the misty northern seas, the Vikings harbored a secret for navigating when the sun was hidden from view. They used a sunstone, a piece of clear calcite crystal that could reveal the sun's exact position even through thick, gray cloud cover or the dim twilight of their long northern days. Hold such a crystal in your mind's eye now, seeing how it splits and filters the light, creating a faint double image that glides into alignment when pointed toward the hidden sun. By observing that quiet optical dance, a navigator could maintain a steady course across the cold Atlantic, the waves slapping gently against the wooden hull, while the sky remained a muted blanket overhead. It was a delicate, almost magical partnership between the human eye and a crystal born deep inside the earth. In the southern hemisphere, travelers have long turned to a simple but profound celestial marker, the constellation Crux, known as the Southern Cross. To find true south, one need only draw an imaginary line from the top of the cross through the foot and extend it dreamily down toward the horizon. Picture yourself floating on a tranquil sea under a velvet sky scattered with diamond dust, your finger tracing that gentle line as the cross leans quietly against the curve of the night. This small, bright cluster has guided countless wanderers, from indigenous Australians reading songlines to early European mariners venturing into uncharted waters. It is a timeless compass, glowing steadily above the dark rim of the world. The ancient Phoenicians, masters of Mediterranean trade, entrusted their nighttime voyages to a star they called the Phoenician Star. That star was actually the brightest point of Ursa Minor, the Little Bear, which contains our present-day Polaris. While other sailors steered by the larger, more conspicuous Ursa Major, the Phoenicians realized that the smaller constellation rotated in a tighter, more precise circle around the northern axis. It was a finer instrument, like choosing a delicate needle over a broad brush. Imagine their dark wooden ships slipping through night-black waters, the helmsman's eyes fixed on that one steady spark, a tiny, unwavering companion that held the whole dome of the sky in quiet balance. With that faithful light, they navigated the vast distances from the Levant to the Pillars of Hercules, wrapped in silence and the gentle hush of waves. Ancient seafarers once held a deep and beautiful understanding of the sky, using what they called zenith stars to find their way across the vast and trackless ocean. They knew that by sailing north or south, they could bring a particular star directly overhead, to the very highest point in the dome of night. When that star hung perfectly above them, like a diamond at the crown of the heavens, they had arrived at their island with a quiet and unshakable certainty. There was no need for maps or instruments, only patience and a gentle alignment with the cosmos. In this way, the stars became more than light. They were silent guides leading travelers home across the whispering sea. Over time, this celestial wisdom was refined into elegant tools. Through centuries of exploration, a remarkable tool called the sextant placed the sky in the hands of sailors with elegant precision. It used a set of polished mirrors to capture the angle between a celestial body and the distant horizon, turning the wild ocean into a luminous and legible map. With this delicate instrument, an explorer could stand on the deck of a rolling ship and, through quiet mathematical observation, determine their latitude with gentle confidence. The sextant did not shout its secrets, it whispered them through light and reflection, bringing order to the boundless deep. Each measurement was a conversation between the heavens and the sea, conducted in the softest, most careful tones. But long before ships and sextants, on land, the stars guided another people. In the silent wastes of the Arabian desert, the Bedouin people learned to read the night sky as a mirrored map of the sandy dunes below. The shimmering positions of the planets became their compass, guiding them through the stillness of the desert air toward hidden oases. They saw the stars not as distant fires, but as a protective canopy, a vast, celestial tent spread over the earth to keep them safe. Under that glimmering roof, every journey was a slow, trustful walk beneath the guidance of the heavens. The desert, so often a place of emptiness, was filled with a quiet direction from the light above, and the air itself seemed to hold its breath in reverence. To understand this deep connection, ancient minds imagined a framework. Long ago, thinkers conceived of a grand and soothing idea called the celestial sphere, imagining the stars embedded in a vast rotating orb of crystal that encircles our world. This vision transforms the night sky into a slow rhythmic dance, a silent ballet of light that turns peacefully every 24 hours. Picture a huge, transparent shell, holding every star in a fixed, gentle swirl around us, like a music box playing without sound. It is a perspective that brings a profound sense of order and calm, reminding us that we are at the center of a universe that moves with quiet purpose. Each night, the stars trace their perfect arcs, a clockwork of the eternal made visible. And even now, in the quietest moments, we can see this dance through a softer lens. The subtle shimmering of stars, a phenomenon known as stellar scintillation, is the sky's way of breathing. As starlight travels to us, it passes through the shifting layers of our warm and cool atmosphere, each ripple of air gently bending the beam. This creates a soft, twinkling effect, a delicate flicker that has drawn poets and dreamers to gaze upward in quiet wonder for millennia. It is as if the stars are whispering secrets in a language of light, a conversation too tender for words. That gentle sparkle is not just a trick of physics, it is an invitation to slow down, to lie back, and to feel the universe softly blinking at you from across the endless dark. Throughout history, humans have looked to the stars with a gentle curiosity, finding guidance in their silent glow. The vast Pacific Ocean was not a barrier, but a pathway woven from starlight. Ancient Polynesian navigators, in their graceful double-hulled canoes, learned to read the sky like a living map. They memorized the star paths, those precise points on the horizon where specific stars arose and set each night, turning the heavens into a compass. By aligning their vessels with these celestial markers, they could navigate the open water with a calm, unhurried confidence. Picture them drifting beneath a canopy of glittering lights, feeling the rhythm of the waves and the wind, trusting the stars to guide them. Through this profound connection, they discovered distant islands scattered across thousands of miles, a silent dance between humanity and the infinite. Consider now the ancient Egyptian builders who looked to the stars with a reverence that shaped their greatest monuments. The Great Pyramids of Giza were oriented with breathtaking precision to the North Star, which at the time was Thuban, a shimmering point in the constellation Draco. This alignment was not just architectural skill, it was a spiritual gesture, a peaceful bridge linking the pharaoh's earthly tomb to the immortal stars of the afterlife. Envision the still night in the desert, the air cool and silent, as engineers used patient observation to anchor the pyramid to the cosmos. Every stone laid was a whispered prayer for a safe passage into eternity, a gentle convergence of this world and the next beneath a canopy of unwavering light. In the stillness of their thoughts, early astronomers fashioned a beautiful tool to make sense of the heavens, the celestial sphere. It was a conceptual model, imagining the sky as a giant, translucent globe encircling the Earth, holding all the stars in a perfect, silent embrace. On this imagined sphere, the stars appeared as floating pearls fixed upon a vast velvet curtain, their gentle rotations marking the passage of time. This quiet invention allowed travelers to understand the movements above, using the fixed positions of stars to navigate the world below. It was a soft, contemplative framework, a way to hold the immense universe in the mind's eye, like a lullaby composed of light and motion. Journey now to the southern hemisphere, where the night sky offers its own quiet compass. Navigators there turn to the Southern Cross, a small but distinct constellation that points the way toward the celestial South Pole. Since there is no single bright star like Polaris to mark the axis, sailors use the intersection of these gentle glimmers to find their bearing. Picture the cross hanging low on the horizon, its four main stars like a hand extended in the dark. By following the line from its longer axis, they find the still point around which the heavens seem to turn. This constellation becomes a silent partner on lonely voyages, a soft beacon of certainty in the shifting seas. Finally, let us drift to the misty North Atlantic, where Viking explorers carried a hidden treasure of the Earth, a sunstone. This was a piece of calcite crystal, transparent and enigmatic, that could reveal the sun's position even through dense, gray clouds or the soft light of twilight. By holding it to the sky and observing how it polarized the light, they could discern the hidden glow of the sun, turning a murky day into a navigational guide. Imagine them on their longships, the wind in their sails, using this crystal to steer unerringly toward distant shores. It was a quiet partnership between mineral and mariner, allowing them to explore new horizons with a serene and courageous heart. We continue our gentle drift through the ancient art of celestial guidance, where the night sky reveals quiet secrets that have guided wanderers for thousands of years. Imagine holding in your hand an astrolabe, a beautiful instrument crafted from polished brass and etched with the intricate secrets of geometry. Medieval scholars would lift these intricate discs to the night sky, measuring the angle of a star above the horizon to reveal their latitude. It must have felt like holding a clock of the cosmos, a way to map the slow, graceful dance of the heavens right there in the palm of your hand. The metal would cool in the night air as you aligned it with a familiar star, watching the universe turn through a circle of brass. These astrolabes were more than tools, they were poems written in metal and light, connecting the wanderer to the eternal rhythm above. Indigenous navigators knew a deeper secret as well, one that connected sea and sky in a profound harmony. They combined their reading of the stars with a practice called wave piloting, where they would sense the subtle, rhythmic swells of the ocean that bounced off distant landmasses. Imagine drifting in complete darkness, feeling the pulsing currents below your hull like the ocean's own heartbeat, while the constellations shimmered above. It was a harmony between the deep waters and the high heavens, a quiet conversation with the world that guided their way across vast open seas. There was a peaceful and elegant technique known as latitude sailing. A captain would sail north or south until they reached the exact star height that matched their destination. Once they hit that celestial coordinate, they would simply drift eastward or westward along that steady line, trusting the sky's guidance above all else. It was a quiet act of faith, a gentle surrender to the mathematics of the heavens. The ocean became a smooth path, and the stars were the only signposts needed on this tranquil journey. Ancient voyagers also relied on a beautiful concept called zenith stars. These are the specific stars that pass directly overhead at a location's highest point in the sky. Imagine sailing for days, watching for that one familiar star to float directly above a desired island. When it did, you knew you had finally arrived home. It was a celestial signal, a sign from the universe that your journey was complete, and that the stars had led you right back to where you belonged. The night sky is often described as a living map, and it is not hard to see why. The slow rotating movement of the constellations creates a natural breathing rhythm across the darkness. As the Earth turns, the stars glide softly across the velvet dark, like embers floating in a gentle breeze. This cosmic dance offers a timeless sense of peace and direction, a reminder that we are all just tiny pieces of this vast breathing universe. In its quiet rotation, we find not just guidance, but a profound sense of belonging under the stars. Hey, are you still awake, gently floating through these ancient tales of the stars? That is perfectly all right if you have drifted into sleep. But if you are still listening, there are so many more celestial whispers to explore. If you are enjoying this, a like helps other night owls find their way. Long ago, across the vast and shimmering Pacific Ocean, the Polynesian voyagers sailed under endless skies. They read the star paths, a celestial map etched into memory, knowing exactly where certain stars would rise and set on the far horizon. This quiet knowledge became their guide, a mental compass woven from pure observation and trust. It allowed them to drift peacefully across thousands of miles of open water, their canoes slicing gently through the waves. They could sense the way to tiny islands, hidden like dreams in the deep blue sea, without ever needing a physical instrument. The stars were their teachers, and the night sky, a friend who never failed. In the stillness of the night, they would sing songs of the stars, melodies that carried the wisdom of their ancestors across the water. This harmony between human and sky turned the vast ocean into a familiar path, a gentle journey under the watchful eyes of the cosmos. In ancient Egypt, beneath the deep indigo of the desert night, astronomers aligned the Great Pyramids with breathtaking precision. Their gaze was fixed on the North Star, which at that time was not Polaris, but a serene star named Thuban. This celestial alignment was no mere act of construction, it was a sacred bridge connecting the earthly realm to the eternal dance of the cosmos. The pyramids rose like silent sentinels, pointing to a point of stillness in the sky, a quiet reminder that life on Earth was part of a greater rhythm. Every stone placed was a whisper of reverence for the unchanging heavens above. It was an act of love for the heavens, a quiet promise that their spirit would join the eternal stars. In the southern hemisphere, the Southern Cross forms a gentle diamond shape against the ink-black canvas of night. It serves as a natural compass for those who wander, a quiet guide in the silence of the dark. By extending the long axis of this cross, one can find the south celestial pole, a point of perfect stillness. Around this unmoving center, the entire sky seems to slowly rotate, like a great cosmic wheel turning over the Earth. For travelers, the Southern Cross is a steady friend, a luminous anchor in the vast southern sea of stars. Imagine holding out your hand to trace its shape, feeling the cool air as you connect the dots of light, and knowing that this simple act points you toward the eternal. And in that moment of connection, the wanderer feels a sense of peace, knowing they are never truly lost in the universe. In the mists of the North Atlantic, the Vikings carried a secret, crystals of Iceland spar known as sunstones. These clear calcite pieces could softly detect the position of the sun, even when hidden behind heavy clouds or the dim light of twilight. By observing how the light polarized through the stone, they could find the sun's direction with a calm certainty. This ancient technology allowed them to glide confidently through the foggy sea, their longships moving like shadows on the water. They trusted the stone as we might trust a familiar voice in the dark, a simple tool that connected them to the light beyond the gloom. It was a soft magic, a way of reading the sky's subtle language, and in that reading they found safety and hope. Ancient Greek sailors turned their eyes to the constellation Ursa Major, the Great Bear, to find their way across the calming Mediterranean waters. By following the pointer stars at the edge of the Bear's Bowl, they could locate the North Star, a fixed point of light in the shifting sky. This steady beacon guided their wooden ships through the night, a familiar companion on long voyages. The stars were like old friends, their patterns etched into memory from countless nights at sea. In the quiet lapping of waves against the hull, the sailors would look up and know they were on the right path, held safe by the celestial Bear. And so, under the canopy of stars, the Greek sailors sailed on, their hearts light with the knowledge that they were never alone. In the deep silence of the ancient night, travelers would lie back and gaze at the stars. They knew that each distant destination had its own special guiding light, a zenith star. This star would pass directly overhead when they reached the right latitude. The moment was peaceful, the star hanging high and still like a quiet beacon. When it reached its highest, most serene point in the sky, the traveler felt a gentle certainty. They had drifted exactly to the correct place, aligned with the cosmos. The earth and heavens were one, and in that stillness the journey felt complete. The soft whisper of the wind seemed to carry this celestial truth, and the traveler rested, knowing they were home. And in another time, in ancient China, the sky was not just a vastness, but a mirror of earthly order. Scholars saw it as three enclosures, celestial regions that echoed the imperial palace. These enclosures were a cosmic symmetry, mapping the emperor's court onto the stars. By tracking the slow, rhythmic drift of planets and stars through these regions, they could maintain harmony in their calendar. The movements were gentle, like a soft breath across the heavens. Every planet had its path, every star its quiet station. Aligning their time with this celestial dance brought a deep sense of balance, a peaceful order that flowed from sky to earth. In this way, the universe felt intimate, a calm extension of their daily lives. Far across the Asian steppes, nomadic peoples looked up to a different guide. The Milky Way glowed softly above them, a broad, luminous river of light. This gentle glow served as a map, a soft, ambient boundary in the dark sky. As they moved across the wide, silent plains, the river of stars offered orientation and comfort. It was a constant presence, always there, casting its pale silver arc from horizon to horizon. Under this celestial stream, the nomads felt a silent companionship. They could follow its flow, knowing it would lead them through the endless night like a quiet, eternal path. It was a bridge between the earth and the stars, a luminous thread connecting their journey to the cosmos. Out on the wide, dark ocean, early mariners relied on a simple wooden tool. It was called the cross staff, and it measured the angle between the horizon and a star. Gently, they would align the instrument, sighting along its length to capture the celestial light. This slow, deliberate process transformed the vast unknown into a readable grid. The ocean, once a dark abyss, became a map of light and distance. Each measurement was like a quiet meditation, a moment of connection between the wanderer and the sky. In that stillness, the mariner found his way, guided by the steady stars above. The gentle rocking of the ship was the only sound, as the heavens silently revealed their secrets. And finally, consider the subtle shifting of the stars over eons. This slow movement is called axial precession, and it means the North Star is not forever. Over thousands of years, the pole star changes, drifting in a grand cosmic dance. The night sky is always evolving, always turning in a timeless cycle of celestial rebirth. It is a gentle reminder that nothing is still, that the universe is in constant, peaceful flux. This quiet symphony of light and time connects all moments, all journeys, into one eternal flowing stream. We are all part of this slow, serene dance, drifting under the ever-changing stars. It is a lullaby of ages, a soft unfolding of the cosmos. The Polynesian voyagers understood the ocean as a deep, silent mirror of the heavens above. They held a star compass in their minds, a quiet mental map that divided the entire horizon into 32 sacred houses. Each house was a gentle keeper of a rising or setting star, a celestial landmark in the vast, dark sea of night. By remembering which stars belonged to which house, they could read the sky like a familiar poem, each verse leading them forward. This wisdom allowed them to drift across thousands of miles of open water, their canoes gliding with quiet precision under the endless curtain of stars. The journey was not a conquest, but a soft, rhythmic dialogue with the cosmos. The Phoenician sailors held a quiet conversation with the velvet night, a dialogue of whispered secrets and guiding light. They relied on the steady, humble light of the North Star, nestled in the constellation Ursa Minor, as their eternal and unwavering guide. This small, constant point of silver allowed them to cross the dark, silken waters of the Mediterranean with profound and silent confidence. Other civilizations spoke in hushed tones of their navigational skill, of how they moved through the deepest dark as if following a secret thread only their eyes could see. It was a gentle dance of complete trust between the navigator and the infinite, watching heavens above. The Vikings carried a shimmering secret on their misty voyages, crystals of Iceland's spar known as sunstones. Even beneath a thick gray blanket of clouds, these stones could softly reveal the sun's hidden and quiet position. By feeling the polarization of light, a gentle and subtle whisper from the sky itself, they could determine the direction with calm and unwavering certainty. Their longships would then glide forward, floating steadily and serenely toward new and unknown shores. They were guided by a light that only their hearts and stones could see, a silent partnership with the elements. In the ancient, sun-baked land of Egypt, the boundless sky offered a gentle, annual promise of deep renewal. The rising of the star Sirius in the soft, blue dawn sky was a tender herald, signaling the impending flood of the great river Nile. This celestial event was not a cause for fear, but a peaceful embrace, a quiet assurance that the life-giving waters would come to nourish the waiting earth. It meant the fertile soil would be reborn, blanketed in rich dark silt, sustaining the kingdom in a cycle of life and quiet gratitude for another tranquil, golden year. And so, each year, the people rested in this celestial rhythm, their lives intertwined with the patient drum of the cosmos. The art of latitude sailing was a deep meditation in motion, a serene way of drifting east or west along a specific, chosen line of stars. Navigators would select a guiding star, a quiet beacon in the night, and hold it at a constant height above the horizon as if it were suspended by an invisible, golden thread. The ship moved forward in a gentle, steady line, like a single leaf floating on a vast and calm river under a moonlit sky. There was no rush to arrive, no sense of urgency, only the soft, rhythmic glide toward a familiar and welcoming landmark. They knew, with peaceful certainty, that the stars would keep their eternal promise of direction, a silent oath from the heavens. Long ago, in the cradle of civilization, ancient astronomers in Mesopotamia sat under the vast desert sky. They carefully recorded the movements of the planets on clay tablets, blending mathematics with patient observation. Night after night, they watched the slow rhythmic dance of the stars, seeing it as a cosmic clock that mirrored the quiet cycles of life on Earth. The phases of the moon and the wanderings of bright Jupiter were not just celestial events but reflections of the world below. This ancient wisdom, etched into soft clay, still whispers to us across the millennia, a reminder of our enduring connection to the cosmos. In those moments of quiet observation, they felt a deep peace, knowing they were part of a larger rhythm. As civilizations grew, the need to navigate the seas brought forth tools like the astrolabe, a delicate instrument of brass and silver. By aligning it with a distant star, early navigators could measure the altitude of a celestial body with calm mathematical certainty. This elegant device allowed them to determine their position on the vast, open seas, bringing a sense of peaceful assurance. It was a tool that turned the mystery of the night sky into a gentle, reliable guide. Through these measurements, travelers found their way, connected to the cosmos above. The soft click of its moving parts echoed the precision of the heavens, grounding them in the present moment. This instrument was more than metal,
It was a bridge between the earthly and the eternal, a silent partner in exploration.
In the southern hemisphere, where the North Star hides below the horizon, the Southern Cross served as a vital guide for those at sea. Its distinct diamond-like shape provided a soft, shimmering anchor for sailors drifting through the lonely reaches of the South Pacific. This constellation, small but brilliant, offered a steady point of reference in the immense darkness. For those navigating uncharted waters, it was a familiar friend in the sky, a silent sentinel of light. The Southern Cross reminded them that even in isolation, they were held within a larger cosmic embrace. Its gentle glow was a lullaby of reassurance, guiding vessels through the silence of the sea. In the midst of vast waters, it was a constant presence, a celestial heartbeat that brought comfort and direction. But not all celestial guidance comes from the stars themselves. Indigenous Australians looked into the velvety shadows of the Milky Way to find dark constellations. Rather than the stars, they observed the dust clouds forming shapes like the emu in the sky, whispering stories of their ancestors. These dark patches were not emptiness but rich tapestries of meaning, connecting the land and the heavens. In the quiet observation of these nebulous forms, they found guidance and heritage, a deep spiritual map. The soft darkness of the galaxy became a canvas for their timeless narratives. It was a serene reminder that the universe holds secrets in both light and shadow, teaching us to see beyond the obvious. These ancient stories, murmured through the night, connect generations in a gentle, unbroken chain of understanding. Modern celestial navigation still relies on the timeless, steady light of stars that traveled for years to reach our eyes. As we gaze upward, we are seeing a soft, ancient glow that has guided wanderers through the quietness of the night for millennia. This light connects us to countless generations who looked up with wonder and hope. It reminds us that the universe is vast yet intimately tied to our own journey. In the stillness, the stars continue to offer a gentle, enduring path forward. They are a bridge across time, a silent dialogue between the past and the present, a constant in a world of change. Even now, in this quiet moment, that same starlight reaches us, inviting calm and reflection. And so our journey continues, drifting through the quiet stories of the stars. Each fact is a gentle wave, carrying us deeper into the night. Long ago, in a time when the world was still a mystery, Polynesian wayfinders set out on the vast and quiet blue of the Pacific Ocean. They carried no compasses or written charts, but instead, they memorized the paths of the stars. They called these sequences star paths, noting which stars rose and set at the horizon during different times of the year. By aligning their canoes with these predictable celestial markers, they could drift across thousands of miles of open water. The ocean was a huge, serene expanse, and the stars were their faithful map. This knowledge, passed down through generations, allowed them to find tiny, peaceful islands scattered like gems on the endless sea. In the northern heavens, there is a star that seems to hold the entire sky together. It is called Polaris, or the North Star, and it sits almost exactly above the Earth's axis of rotation. As the world turns and the other stars trace their slow arcs, Polaris remains still and serene. It is a glowing anchor, a steady point in the flowing velvet darkness. For centuries, travelers have looked to this one unwavering light when they felt lost. In the quiet of the night, with nothing but the soft breeze around them, Polaris helped them find their way home. It is a reminder that some things in this vast cosmos remain constant and true. The ancient Egyptians also gazed at the sky with wonder and reverence. They aligned the Great Pyramids of Giza with breathtaking precision to mirror the stars of Orion's belt. This celestial architecture was not just a feat of engineering, but a sacred design. It was meant to create a peaceful bridge between the earthly realm and the shimmering eternal sky above. They believed that the pharaohs, after death, would become stars themselves and join the gods in Orion. On a clear night, when the Milky Way spills across the heavens, you can almost feel that ancient connection. The pyramids and the stars are still there, speaking in a silent, timeless language. Now, let your imagination drift to a different kind of navigation, called latitude sailing. A navigator would set out on the open water, moving north or south under the wide sky. They would watch for a specific star, waiting until it hovered at a precise angle above the horizon. Once this glowing marker was found and the angle steadied, they knew they had reached the right latitude. Then they would glide softly east or west, floating along a predictable celestial line. It was a quiet and patient process, relying on the rhythm of the stars and the gentle rocking of the waves. The navigator and the star moved together, in a slow dance across the deep breathing ocean. In the southern hemisphere, the night sky offers a different kind of guide. There, navigators look to the Southern Cross, a gentle diamond-shaped cluster of stars. This constellation is like a quiet jewel, and its longer axis points softly toward the celestial South Pole. Early explorers traversing the deep waters of the Indian and Pacific Oceans would follow this ethereal sign. The Southern Cross was their silent companion, a promise of direction under the endless starry dome. Even now, on clear southern nights, it whispers of ancient voyages and the courage to explore the unknown. As these celestial tales settle in your mind, let the vastness of the sky embrace you. The stars have always been there, a quiet guide through the dark. Breathe in their calm and let it carry you softly asleep. In the quiet of an ancient observatory, a scholar held an astrolabe. This delicate instrument of polished brass was cool and smooth in their palm. By turning its intricate dials, they traced the altitude of stars above. Each movement was a silent conversation with the night. Through this gentle machinery, they could discern the time and their exact position under the canopy of stars. It was as if the astrolabe whispered the secrets of the cosmos, mapping their place in the drifting darkness. A humble tool that connected human hands to the infinite sky, guiding them with soft, metallic certainty. Across the cold, rocking waves of the North Atlantic, the Vikings trusted their sunstones. These translucent crystals held the power to reveal the sun's hidden position. Even through thick, drifting clouds, the stone would cast a faint, glowing direction. It was a steady guide in the gray, endless twilight of the sea. Imagine holding this smooth crystal, feeling its calm warmth as it pointed the way home. The rhythmic waves lulled the sailors, while the sunstone kept their course true. A simple natural tool that transformed uncertainty into a peaceful voyage under skies both clouded and clear. High above our sleeping world, there is an invisible line, the celestial equator. It divides the sky into northern and southern halves, a peaceful mirror of our Earth's own equator. This silent, floating boundary organizes the drifting dance of planets and stars. It doesn't make a sound, but astronomers have charted its presence for millennia. As we close our eyes, we can sense this gentle order in the heavens. It's a reminder that even in the vast darkness, there is structure and calm. The stars move along this unseen path, a quiet guide for those who navigate by the night sky. For thousands of years, the Pleiades star cluster has been a celestial clock. Known as the Seven Sisters, their soft, shimmering appearance heralded the change of seasons. When they rose in the night sky, they whispered to the earth below. It was time to plant seeds in the warm, waking soil. Ancient people looked up and saw a gentle calendar, guiding their agricultural rhythms. The Pleiades' quiet glow connected them to the cycle of life, death, and renewal. As we dream, we can imagine those shimmering sisters watching over the fields, a timeless beacon of comfort and continuity. The atmosphere wraps our planet in a breathing veil, creating a gentle shimmering effect called stellar scintillation. This is why stars twinkle softly overhead, pulsing with a rhythmic light. It's as if the heavens are breathing, expanding and contracting in a serene dance. This twinkling isn't random. It's the warm, living motion of air currents bending the starlight. As we drift toward sleep, we can sync our breaths with this celestial rhythm. The pulsing light soothes our minds, inviting us to float into dreams. Under this breathing canopy, we surrender to the quiet guidance of the night sky. You're so deeply relaxed now, like a boat on a starlit sea. Just let the ancient art of celestial guidance cradle you, while I continue these soft words into the night. In the vast, quiet reaches of the Pacific Ocean, the Polynesian voyagers moved with a gentle grace, guided by a method they called wayfinding. They did not rely on maps or instruments, but on the steady rise and setting of specific star paths, memorizing a mental map of the celestial sphere. These peaceful navigators could drift across thousands of miles of open water, their canoes silently slicing through the waves as they searched for tiny hidden islands. The stars above were their constant companions, twinkling guides in the immense darkness, leading them home to lands unseen by others. Each constellation told a story, each shimmering point a signpost in the night, allowing them to traverse the endless blue with a serene confidence that echoes through time. Across the sands of time, ancient Egyptian architects aligned the Great Pyramids of Giza with a precision that mirrors the stars, their stone forms reaching toward the North Star. This celestial alignment was no accident, but a deliberate act, a silent, eternal bridge connecting the earthly realm to the shimmering lights of the afterlife. In the stillness of the desert night, the pyramids stood as quiet witnesses, their peaks touching the heavens where ancestors dwelled. The stars held the secrets of eternity, and the pharaohs, in their final rest, were cradled by a cosmic order that promised a gentle journey beyond. Every beam of starlight seemed to whisper a promise of perpetual peace, a dream woven into the very fabric of the stones. In the misty North Atlantic, the Vikings sailed through thick gray clouds, their world often veiled in a soft, damp silence. They carried a mysterious tool known as a sunstone, a piece of calcite that could locate the sun even when it was hidden from view. Turning the stone in their weathered hands, they could see the light bend and gleam, revealing the sun's position through the overcast sky. This gentle guidance allowed them to maintain a steady course, their longboats cutting through the cold waters with a quiet purpose. The hidden sun cast a soft glow, a luminous thread through the fog, leading these seafarers onward through the whispering mist, always toward a horizon of new beginnings. In the southern hemisphere, travelers turn their eyes to the Southern Cross, a small but brilliant constellation that acts as a gentle beacon in the velvet night. By drawing an imaginary line from its longest arm, one can find the celestial south, a point of stillness floating steadily above the dark expanse. This constellation is a quiet friend to those wandering under unfamiliar skies, a flickering light that guides them through the cool, dense air. The stars of the Southern Cross shine with a soft, reassuring brilliance, like a lullaby written in the cosmos, keeping watch over lonely seas and vast landscapes. Drifting through the night, the traveler feels a deep connection to this ancient marker, a timeless guide in the infinite tapestry above. The ancient Greeks, with their love of wisdom, developed the astrolabe, a delicate, handheld instrument of brass and silver used to measure the altitude of stars. In the quiet of a Mediterranean night, an early astronomer would hold this intricate device to the sky, aligning its dials with the twinkling lights above. The astrolabe turned the celestial dome into a precise glowing map, each measurement a step in understanding the vast, orderly heavens. By determining their latitude, these seekers of knowledge could navigate with a newfound clarity, their hearts calm and curious under the starry canopy. The night sky became a familiar text, each star a word in a silent poem, guiding humanity through time with gentle, unerring light. For so many centuries across the silent dark seas, sailors looked up and found a single unmoving star. Polaris, the North Star, stood nearly motionless in the deep night, while all the other stars drifted in slow, gentle circles around it. This steady point of light was more than just a beacon. It was a profound anchor for the human spirit, a quiet promise for those wandering the deep and mysterious currents of the ocean. It whispered that there is always a center, a place to hold on to when the world feels vast and unknown. In the quiet of a night at sea, it was a patient and enduring friend. Traditional Arabic navigators crafted star charts of breathtaking beauty. They saw the sky as a grand unfolding poem, and they mapped it with both mathematical care and deep poetic wonder. These celestial maps allowed them to glide across the warm silken waters of the Indian Ocean, following the rhythmic pulse of the planets. It was a dance between the sea below and the heavens above, a harmony that turned long voyages into a serene and thoughtful passage. The night sky became a living companion, full of meaning and movement, guiding them safely across vast distances under its tranquil watch. There is a quiet wonder known as the zenith star.
This is a star that passes directly overhead at a specific latitude, a celestial marker for a particular place on Earth. Imagine waiting for this star to climb the great dome of the night. When it reached its very highest, most peaceful point, ancient travelers felt a deep stillness settle around them. In that silent moment they knew with certainty that they had arrived at their destination, guided only by light and patience and trust. It was the sky itself telling them, "Rest now, you are here."
Celestial navigation is woven together with a practice called dead reckoning. Here the traveler would gently estimate their position, not just by the stars, but also by the steady drift of the wind on their cheek and the subtle angle of the constellations. It is a quiet and humble art, rooted in intuition and deep patience. It blends the sensory feeling of the living world with the vast cosmic observation of the sky above. There is no hurried calculation, only a slow attunement to the rhythms of sea and starlight, a gentle conversation with the universe itself. Many ancient cultures looked at the constellations and saw far more than just a celestial map. They saw softly glowing stories written across the heavens, eternal myths that shimmered in the quiet dark. These tales transformed the act of navigation into a deeply meditative journey. Every star became a familiar friend, a comforting character in an age-old story that helped guide the way back home. Sailing beneath them was like moving through a cherished dream, held safe within a tapestry of soft light and whispered legend, a journey where the soul felt truly seen. The Polynesians drifted across the vast and quiet Pacific Ocean, practicing a sacred art known as wayfinding. This was a method not of metal or maps, but of deep listening to the subtle rhythms of the sea and gently memorizing the rising and setting points of certain stars upon the horizon. Each star became a familiar friend in the dark, guiding their canoes as they moved peacefully toward distant islands. The ocean whispered stories through its currents, but the stars remained a constant, silent compass under the canopy of night. They would lie back and feel the cosmos guiding them home, a serene trust in the celestial patterns and gentle swells below. Long ago, the ancient Egyptians built their monuments to mirror the stars, creating a celestial order on Earth. The Great Pyramid of Giza was carefully oriented toward the North Pole star of its time, forming a silent, permanent link between the warm sands of the desert and the drifting constellations. The pyramid stood under the night sky, its smooth limestone reflecting the starlight, a bridge between the earthly and the divine. In the quiet of the desert night, one could sense the ancient builders' reverence for the stars that guided their souls. This alignment was so precise it felt like a prayer whispered in stone, holding that sacred connection through the ages as the constellations slowly shifted above. In the northern hemisphere, there is a star that remains still while others dance. This star is Polaris, sitting almost directly above the North Pole. While the rest of the sky turns in a slow, rhythmic circle, Polaris stays steady, like a quiet candle in a vast, dark room. It has guided travelers for millennia, a constant point of light through the velvet night. Sailors and wanderers would look up and find solace in its unwavering glow, seeing a reminder that in a world of constant motion, there are anchors of peace and stability, and Polaris waits there, a faithful friend to anyone lost in the darkness, its light a silent promise of guidance under the night sky.
Ancient voyagers had another gentle method to find their way, the technique of the zenith star. They would identify a particular star that passed directly overhead at Destination Island. As they journeyed, they waited for this light to float to its highest point in the sky. When the star rested directly above them, they knew they had arrived at their peaceful harbor. It was a patient, meditative practice, watching the star climb the heavens, feeling the rhythm of the earth and sea align, and in that moment, the sky and the sea seemed to breathe together, welcoming the travelers to a place of rest and safety, as the universe whispered that the journey was complete.
The astrolabe was a delicate instrument crafted from brass and silver that allowed early astronomers to measure the altitude of celestial bodies. By aligning the device with a shimmering star, navigators could calculate their latitude and understand their place within the world. As they held the astrolabe under the night sky, its engraved plates catching the starlight, they felt connected to a larger, dreaming cosmos. It was a tool of both precision and poetry, a bridge between the earth and the heavens. With each gentle measurement, they mapped their journey across the wide and dreaming embrace of the globe, the astrolabe becoming a trusted companion that whispered the ancient language of the sky as it guided them safely to shore. Imagine, for a moment, the night sky as seen by our ancestors. They did not see a galaxy of scattered stars, but a great celestial river, a silver path flowing across the heavens. This soft, glowing ribbon of light was a gentle companion to nomadic travelers. It shimmered above open plains, offering a quiet guide under a canopy of stardust. They drifted with its subtle direction, trusting the ancient light to lead them forward. It was not just a spectacle, but a silent navigator, painting a route across the darkness. For countless generations, this ethereal pathway has been a source of wonder and guidance, a luminous thread weaving through human dreams.
In the southern skies, a small but brilliant constellation shines quietly. It is the Southern Cross, a celestial marker for those who sail the vast, open seas. By extending a gentle line from its longest arm, navigators can trace a path to the celestial south. This silent guide allows them to drift safely, as if the stars themselves are whispering the way toward warmer, tropical shores. It is a steady companion in the endless, soothing darkness. The Southern Cross hangs low on the horizon, a cluster of light that has guided countless journeys. Sailors look to it with a sense of calm, knowing its quiet geometry points the way. And so, they continue to sail, cradled by the quiet assurance of these stars.
Ancient mariners practiced a gentle art called latitude sailing. They would calmly guide their vessels north or south, seeking the familiar height of a chosen star. They waited until that star rested at a precise, familiar angle in the tranquil sky. Then, with a quiet turn, they would sail east or west, gliding along a parallel of starlight. It was like following a soft, luminous highway etched into the night, a steady, rhythmic journey under the watchful eyes of the cosmos. This method brought a sense of serene certainty to their travels, a comforting rhythm in the vast ocean. They moved in harmony with the heavens, a slow dance of navigation and trust. Some navigators relied on star paths, a quiet sequence of glowing beacons. They would group several stars together, creating a gentle trail in the mind. One by one, they followed these celestial lights, like breadcrumbs scattered across the deep indigo sky. It was a soft, visual melody guiding them through the night. Each star was a step, a breath, carrying them deeper into the quiet unknown. These star paths were not rigid lines, but fluid connections, sensed more than seen. A path of light that only the patient and the peaceful could truly see. And so, they journeyed on, wrapped in the stillness of the starlit expanse. And as you gaze upward, you might notice the stars softly twinkling. This is called scintillation, a shimmering effect created by our own atmosphere. Slow, warm currents of air gently ripple the light, making each star pulse with a delicate rhythm. It adds a soothing, almost musical quality to the night. This rhythmic quivering transforms stargazing into a meditative act. Each twinkle is a calm heartbeat in the vast silence of the cosmos. It is a reminder that even the distant heavens are connected to our world, moving in a slow, celestial dance. So, let your eyes rest on these gentle lights, and let them carry you into sleep. Let these stories wash over you, quiet as the night. They are tales of how we found our way, using only the soft light above and the deep feeling within. The Polynesians drifted across the vast, warm Pacific, not by maps but by a deep inner knowing. They practiced the peaceful art of wayfinding, feeling the ocean's subtle swells against their hulls, watching the silent rising of stars. They carried star compasses in their memory, celestial patterns that led them to tiny islands hidden far beyond the horizon. Guided only by the soft glow of the night sky, they moved as if in a dream, a seamless drift across the endless blue. The sea whispered to them, and they listened with their whole being, each ripple a hint of land ahead. And in the desert, another kind of stillness held sway. Ancient Egyptian architects aligned the Great Pyramids with a breathtaking precision, fixing them to the North Star of their age, Thuban. This quiet, celestial connection kept the structures in a soft, eternal harmony with the gentle drifting of the heavens. The stones seemed to breathe in unison with the slow, vast sky, a silent dance of stone and star. They stand there still, in the sand, mirroring the cosmos, a deep-rooted peace emanating from their core. It was as if they were built not by hands, but by the will of the night itself. From the warm sands to the cold northern mists, the guiding light took many forms. The Vikings sailed through fog so dense it swallowed the world, yet they had a quiet ally, a sunstone. This small piece of calcite held the power to find the sun, even under thick, gray clouds. By sensing the sky's soft, polarized light, it pointed the way like a spectral compass. They glided through the North Atlantic, their drift as gentle as a lullaby, the sea cradling them in its cold embrace. The sunstone was their talisman, a touch of warmth in the dreary air, a silent guide through the gray. They held it close, a secret shared with the clouded light. In warmer waters, another star rose to become a faithful friend. The Phoenicians wove their lives around the North Star, a relationship so intimate that the Greeks named it the Phoenician star. This steadiness in the moving heavens was a silent guardian, watching over their ships on the warm, dark Mediterranean. It stood unmoving as the world turned, a point of perfect calm. Their vessels slid through the water like thoughts, guided by this soft, unwavering light. In the silence of the night, it was a promise of return, a gentle anchor in the celestial sea. The stars seemed to know them, a watchful eye that never slept. And for those who journey south, a different configuration awaits. In the southern hemisphere, the night sky holds a hidden gem, the Southern Cross. This gentle diamond of light serves as a quiet compass, pointing ever to the south. For thousands of years, it has been a companion to navigators adrift on the sea, its form a soft, unwavering guide. The stars shimmer in the deep velvet above, a constellation of profound peace. Sailors and dreamers alike have felt its pull, a gentle, luminous hand directing their path. In the vast stillness, it is a point of connection, a whisper of direction in the cosmic dark. And all these lights, all these methods, they are the same. A quiet understanding between us and the sky. A lullaby from the stars sung to guide us home. So rest now, and let the celestial calm wash over you. The astrolabe was a delicate, handheld instrument made of warm, polished brass. Imagine holding it in your cool palm under a starlit sky. Its intricate floating plates are etched with celestial maps, turning with a soft, rhythmic precision. Astronomers used it to measure the altitude of stars above the horizon. With each careful adjustment, it reveals the time of night and the traveler's latitude. A tool of quiet wonder, guiding sailors home through the dark. Feel the smooth metal, the subtle click of its plates, as if the stars themselves are whispering their secrets. It's a bridge between earth and sky, steadying the heart with its ancient, unerring grace.
Ancient astronomers identified zenith stars with patient, knowing eyes. These were special stars that passed directly overhead at a specific latitude. Sailors learned to drift toward their destination, watching the sky in silent vigil. They waited for a particular star to rest perfectly at the zenith, a moment of soft alignment. In the quiet stillness of the sea, that star was a beacon of gentle light. It was a familiar friend, pointing the way home through the vastness. The ritual was one of patience and deep trust. A silent understanding between the wanderer and the cosmos above. Each night, the star would rise, a steady guide through the velvet darkness, wrapping the sailor in a cocoon of celestial reassurance.
Envision the celestial sphere, a beautiful and calming idea. Imagine the stars as tiny glowing lanterns fixed to a vast dome of glass. This dome rotates slowly above us, a silent clockwork of light that never fails. Early navigators mapped this revolving sky as a peaceful, eternal clock. It signaled the changing of the seasons, the passage of time, and the rhythm of life. Each star had its place, its time to shine in the grand design. Watching it, you feel part of something greater than yourself. A timeless dance where every point of light is a note in a cosmic melody. This heavenly music soothes the soul with its gentle harmony, a lullaby for the restless mind. Many ancient cultures gazed at the Milky Way and saw a river of stars, a shimmering silver path flowing with quiet grace across the night. It was thought to be a heavenly waterway, reflecting celestial light into the world. This soft, luminous band offered a gentle sense of direction and comfort. It was a connection to the drifting cosmos, a guide through the dark unknown. Feel its warm, milky glow as it arches above you, serene and endless. It whispers of unity with the universe, a road made of stardust and dreams. Leading the weary traveler home, it wraps the sky in a tranquil embrace, a silent promise that we are all part of this vast, beautiful tapestry. The slow, rhythmic rotation of the night sky is a soothing balm for the weary. Watching it, you feel a deep sense of timelessness and profound peace. Constellations glide softly from east to west, a silent ballet of light that endures through all ages. These patterns have guided humanity since the beginning of time, steadfast and true. They are ancient lullabies written in the heavens, above the clouds and beyond the sun, soothing the restless heart with their steady, predictable motion. In their quiet journey, we find a reminder of our place in the vast, still cosmos. Each star a gentle pulse in the eternal night, comforting us with its unwavering presence. They whisper that everything is as it should be, in a universe that moves with infinite, tender care. The Polynesians drifted across the vast, warm Pacific, their canoes slicing softly through the endless blue, guided by the steady rise and set of specific stars. They held a quiet star compass in their minds, a map of celestial paths memorized from generations of peaceful voyagers. Through thousands of miles of deep, still water, they found tiny islands, each a soft green breath of land in the immense silence. In ancient Egypt, the Great Pyramids were aligned with a breathtaking precision toward the north, using the indestructible circumpolar stars as a shimmering guide. These lights never dipped below the horizon, remaining a permanent soft glow in the night sky. They led the pharaohs on a gentle journey into the deep, quiet afterlife, a luminous path through the darkness. The North Star, known as Polaris, is a singular, steady point of light, a quiet sentinel in the rotating sky. For centuries, sailors have looked up from the dark sea, finding their latitude in its unwavering beam, a soft touch of guidance. It allowed them to glide safely home through the deep night, a warm, familiar beacon in the vastness. In ancient Greece, the astronomer Hipparchus created the first comprehensive star catalogue around 130 BCE, a quiet tapestry of light. He carefully mapped the positions of hundreds of stars, organizing the heavens into a soft, ordered library. This gentle archive of celestial knowledge guided scholars for generations, a deep, still wisdom whispered through the ages.
The Southern Cross is a small but brilliant constellation, a diamond-like anchor in the deep southern sky. Navigators in the southern hemisphere use its distinct shape to find the celestial south, a gentle guide through warm waters. It softly leads ships through the Indian and Pacific Oceans, a quiet, luminous cross of direction. Soft now, let these words settle around you. It is whispered that ancient Phoenician sailors were the first to truly trust the Little Dipper for navigation. They found its stars more stable than the Great Bear, a subtle shift in focus that let them sail the Mediterranean with a quiet, graceful confidence, resting in a gentle, guiding light. The concept of a zenith star is so soft and simple. Travelers would identify a star that passes directly overhead a specific destination, and by drifting until that chosen star floated exactly above them at midnight, they knew with a deep, peaceful certainty that they had arrived at their tranquil harbor.
The astrolabe, a delicate instrument of cool brass and silver, allowed medieval astronomers to measure the altitude of stars above the horizon. This elegant tool, held in careful hands, turned the vast and dizzying complexity of the cosmos into a soft, readable map of time and space. Many ancient cultures saw the Milky Way not as a collection of distant suns, but as a celestial river, a shimmering path of silver dust. This soft, glowing band of light provided a wide and ambient glow on moonless nights, helping wanderers feel a deep sense of direction in the dark. The slow, rhythmic precession of the Earth's axis is like a deep, slow breath taken by the cosmos itself. It means the North Star actually changes over thousands of years, and in a distant, quiet future, the star Vega will eventually take over as the steady, guiding light for those gazing upward into the velvet night. And with that final drifting thought, the sky has turned another slow circle, and our journey through celestial guidance finds its quiet end. Your mind has traveled far across ancient seas and starlit paths, and now it is time to let the constellations fade softly into sleep. If this gentle exploration helped you drift off, you can leave a like, and if you subscribe, my voice will be here waiting for you in the dark, whenever you need it, a quiet anchor in the night. May your dreams be guided by a calm and steady inner light, and whenever you feel lost, just look up, sleep now, and rest in the certainty that you are exactly where you are meant to be.